So Lies of P launched a few weeks ago, to great admiration among the Souls community. I thought I'd talk about Halloween games that I'm playing this month, but Lies of P came out, so I'm doing that instead. I mean, it's sort of Halloween-y, right? Anyway, many people praise the game for its similarity to games such as Dark Souls and Bloodborne, without outright copying them. The game feels like more of a tribute to other Souls games than a copycat, and that in and of itself is what makes the game feel so special. All of the footage I'm showing from the game is from the trailers. I meant to record my own footage, but at the time of making this I completely forgot about that. In terms of spoilers, there shouldn't be any past the point of what they do show in the trailers. Lies of P takes on the story of Pinocchio with a twist. The game itself feels incredibly atmospheric with tons and tons of lore around everything in true Souls fashion. The environment itself feels extremely lived in with dirty streets, post-Victorian furniture and realistic environments. In terms of the world and story, I think they absolutely nailed it. On the other hand, however, I feel like the dialogue was usually too straightforward, leaving little to the imagination. I know it isn't a must-have Dark Souls-like ambiguity, but it really felt as though it would have made the game just that little bit better. The enemies within the game vary between areas, with each new type of enemy feeling and looking different from the last. The first area starts off with puppets in a maddened and frenzied state. Later on in the game, completely to my surprise, the enemies changed to zombie-like enemies that completely shifted the game's feel from Gothic steampunk to chilling cathedrals and crypts. The game does return, however, to its original feel. About halfway in, we go back to puppets and receive one of the most fun and engaging boss fights I've experienced since millennia, although nowhere near as hard. The weapons in the game are all very fun to use and require different traits to be leveled up if you want to use them effectively. Once you kill a boss too, you can get their Ergo Fragment, which is this game's version of the Remembrance from Elden Ring. Essentially, it lets you buy special weapons from a vendor that you will be able to find relatively early in the game. The game has an interesting mechanic with the normal weapons too, where you can adjust the handle and blade separately to suit your playstyle. For example, you may like a blade as it has good ability or it's scaled to your skill that you're leveling. However, you may wish it to swing faster or do more damage, so you can swap out the handle and boom, new weapon, new style of play. In combat encounters, you will find that whenever you defeat an enemy, it will actually fill a bar under your stamina. The bar is called Fable Arts, and it is directly linked to your weapons, as different weapons have different abilities that they use anywhere between 1 and 3 bars of Fable Arts for. When using such an ability, you will quickly notice how powerful they can really be. The combat can be fairly challenging at times, but it's always very satisfying to beat. Boss fights are very good in the game. They don't quite live up to the Dark Souls level of difficulty, but they are just as fun. I always found myself fairly challenged within each boss fight, but it was never so hard that I felt as though I couldn't win. I think the longest I ever found myself in a boss fight was around an hour or so. Usually there is a boss in every area with a sort of mini-boss around halfway in as well. Different enemies around the world are also weak to different effects and resistant to others. For example, the zombies are weak to fire, humans are weak to acid, and puppets are weak to electricity. If you pair these effects with your sword or equip a corresponding arm, it can make all the difference to a fight. As mentioned, in Lies of P you also get to change your prosthetic arm and upgrade it to unlock new abilities. You can choose between around 6 arms or so that all have unique and game-changing abilities. It will take you almost an entire playthrough to fully upgrade an arm, but it's well worth it. I found, however, that once you have an arm fully upgraded, it sort of makes the others redundant. I don't think there's an awful lot that could be changed to compensate for this, but it's still a small error I thought I would point out. Just as a side note, I thought I'd squeeze this one in quickly. I've completely finished the video already, but I completely forgot to talk about the score of this game. It's phenomenal. The score for this game is honestly Dark Souls level. The music is fantastic. I absolutely loved the opening title card music, and I love the records that you can find around the game. It's so nice to listen to them. But yeah, I just thought I'd squeeze that in there quickly as well. I completely forgot to talk about that. It's amazing. Overall, Lies of P is truly an amazing game, and a brilliant love letter to FromSoft and Bandai Namco. It is carefully constructed, and you can really tell that a lot of time, effort and love went into this game to make it as perfect as possible. That being said, I wasn't a huge fan of the end I got, as upon closer inspection it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but I'm led to believe that I didn't actually get the true canonical ending, which is why I'll play through the game again to get the true ending. I also can't finish this video without mentioning that basically confirmed DLC slash new game that we'll hopefully be getting. The game has an end cutscene referencing Dorothy from Wizard of Oz. Personally, I hope that it's its own game with its own setting rather than a small DLC for the base game. I think that judging by what the developers did with the story of Pinocchio, that the Wizard of Oz has humongous potential. But yeah, that's about everything that I wanted to say about the game. I recommend that you go and buy the game and play it for yourself in its entirety. It's only £10 if you buy Game Pass for a month, which is plenty of time to finish it. But yeah, that's about all I have to say about the game. In my next video, I'll be talking about the TV show Hannibal. Until then.